Hello, this is Dr. Tay, and today's episode is on elderberry syrup. I've been making this for many years now, and this is a shot. Nikki, cheers. Mm. All right, the story behind elderberry syrup is that my daughter got sick multiple times in the span of 6 weeks, and my wife got really upset and said, "You know what works for this?" And I said, "What?" And she said, "Herbs." And you happen to be an herbalist, so shame on you. So I came to work. I was stressing out. I'm like, I'm a horrible father. I'm a good herbalist, but I got to do something. So everything I make tastes awful, and elderberry syrup popped up in my head. I'm like, wow, right, that stuff actually tastes good. So I sourced all the organic ingredients. I made it at home. I made a bunch to last the whole season. Then I brought the leftovers. It was a lot. And I bottled it in like vinegar bottles, wine bottles, and I gave it out to a bunch of my patients, my office manager, and everybody had a great time. And I instructed everybody to take 1 tablespoon in the morning, 1 tablespoon at night, and fast forward several weeks later, a bunch of people came back during the flu season and said, my whole family got sick, but not me, or I got sick, and I recovered in a matter of days. Instead of my other family member or friends that got sick with me, they're still sick. And this stuff actually works, and people started placing orders. And naturally, the people who started taking my elderberry syrup, they stopped getting sick. So this prompted a lot of sales, and I started making more, and now I have an elderberry business because of it. That's the backside story. We in 2019, when the whole lockdown situation happened, I cannot mention the C word, so I gotta describe it to you guys. There was an article about how elderberry syrup is bad for the cytokine storm reasons and stuff like that. And people were saying, oh, don't take elderberry syrup. It creates a cytokine storm. And cytokine storm is when your body has an inflammatory response, it releases more immune cells. And when the immune cells can't get to the site of the infection due to a mucus barrier that the C word has created a situation. And the cytokine storm is you have too many immune cells and they don't know what to attack. So what do? They start attacking your body. And the people who were very concerned about this, I had them do breath work. And if you do things like the Wim Hof breathing, where you're doing intermittent hypoxia, aka breath holds, you're able to move the mucus into the lymphatic system and clear your sinuses and things like that. The whole situation with that, where people were using ventilators and they were dying, is because they were not doing intermittent hypoxia. They were doing breath holds where it gets the mucus out of the organs from your lungs and into the lymphatic system. And the combination of breath work and this, a lot of people recovered from the C word. So should you be concerned about cytokine storms? If you know breath work, it shouldn't be a problem. On a future video, I will make a breathwork / elderberry protocol so that if you are to take this, how to get more benefits out of it. The secrets of breathwork and elderberry syrup. All right, having said that, here is a randomized study of efficacy and safety of oral elderberry extracts in treatments of influenza A and B virus infections. Elderberry syrup was used to treat influenza, colds, and sinusitis, and has been reported to have antiviral activity against viruses in general. They investigated and they found 60 patients aged from 18 to 54 in the influenza-like symptoms for 48 hours or less were enrolled in this randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study during the flu season of 1999 and 2000. Patients that received about 15 milliliters of elderberry or placebo syrup 4 times a day for 5 days and recorded the symptoms using visual analog scale. Symptoms were relieved on average 4 days earlier, and use of rescue medication was significantly less in those receiving elderberry extract compared with placebo. This stuff really works. I can really attest to it. And over the years, a lot of people have taken it, and there is research about the Epstein-Barr virus. Because it is a virus, does elderberry respond to it? The answer is yes. The history of Epstein-Barr was a guy named Anthony Epstein. No, not that Epstein. And there's a guy named Yvonne Barr. And two of them, they identified the Epstein-Barr virus. And they found out that this causes a plethora of signs and symptoms all around the body that I'm not going to go into. But a lot of people who have things like psoriasis, skin conditions, fatigue, fibroids, endometriosis, etc., 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 all report some sort of Epstein-Barr virus symptoms. So what happens when your body is very fatigued, malnutritioned, you're eating a lot of sugar, you ate too much of the bad oil content, there's inflammatory markers in your body, your immune system starts shooting down around the holiday season, which is about now. And you get exposed to cold air, and guess what? You get sick really fast. And Epstein-Barr virus has a tendency to spread out through the body. And there's 4 stages, which I'm not going to get into. Depending on which stage you're on, it wrecks more and more things into the body. Like, for example, in stage 4, a lot of people experience like rheumatoid arthritis. And people who have rheumatoid arthritis, they have things like Epstein-Barr virus in their blood work. They usually remain dormant. People ask how to raise their immune system. And there's so many things to do out there. And one of the things you can do is take elderberry syrup, 1 tablespoon in the morning, 1 tablespoon at night. There are a lot of elderberry products out there, but you have to know this. Elderberry is poisonous technically, even in small dosages. And if you eat too much of it, you have diarrhea. That's why it has to be cooked a certain way. And when I learned about this, this is one of the main reasons why I make it at home, because I do not trust the companies out there to cook it at the right temperature and make sure that everything is right. And because of that, I make this stuff. Here is a story of a girl who was 14 years old, who has glandular fever. And elderberry syrup has been shown to block replication of Epstein-Barr virus and boost the immune system. And there's different types of elderberry products out there. The American elderberry, blue elderberry, Florida elderberry, blackberry elderberry. And the stuff that I found that's really good that comes from other parts of the world is from Croatia. If you're getting sick very often from September to December, if you get more than sick like 4 or 5 times, you are a perfect candidate for elderberry syrup. If you get sick really bad, flus every year, you might want to think about taking elderberry syrup. Please talk to your doctor. They're not trained in herbs, but talk to your doctor about whether you should take elderberry syrup and put it into your diet if you have Epstein-Barr viruses and things like that. This is for education and entertainment purposes, and this is not for medical advice. Stay tuned for more videos like this. Hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm and this channel, and it gives me a lot of motivation for myself and Nikki, who's working on this channel. All right, thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye.